Finance for Hippies is recorded at the Goethe Institute in Johannesburg, South Africa. They enable arts and cultural organizations to be more entrepreneurial so they can create a better society.
The Goethe Institute does this through a global network of hubs where local creatives act as a driving force of economy and culture.
Hit him swag. 2015, cool kid, I met Ndarkie. Ndarkie told me, TeethSwag, I saved him, no ways, dude. I told him, odd over money. I told him, dude, odd over money. 3 years passed and my palm's still not itchy. Bank account still small like MT's peepees. Streets need me, Ndarkie, can you feel me? That's why we got finance for hippies.
TeethSwag and Ndarkie. Who needs a budget? Dude, really? Finance for who? Sounds silly. As I think about it, my credit cards are through the ceiling. You don't need a loan. I'll pay you back. Sasa's kicking in on the 15th for sure. You are now tuned in to another episode of Finance for Hippies, brought to you by yours truly, Ndarkie, and his sidekick, Teeth.
I'm the star of the show, man.
No.
It's TeethSwag. If we were Batman and Robin, I'd be Batman.
I'll be Batman.
You'd be Robin, chief. But yeah, what's up, Doug? What's up?
Watch out for Teeth. Teeth is making big moves out there in the gaming industry. Check out his Instagram. I'm sure you'll get a few details of what he's pushing through. Today's episode, another exciting episode. The title is...
To adult or not to adult?
The journey to finance.
To adult or not to adult? The journey to financial independence. This is officially your worst intro.
That's the worst intro ever.
We apologize.
We apologize. That's how it can go either way and on any day.
That's horrible, bro.
Yeah. The journey to financial independence. This is really a young kid turning into an adult and the responsibilities that come with being an adult. Today we have a splash of class. We decided to class things up because of our guest. We're not drinking that young buck thing. Teeth killed us last week. We are not drinking any beer. We're drinking cocktails, specifically mimosas. A mimosa is 1 part champagne, 1 part citrus juice. Today we are indulging in mango, which was the choice of my dear friend Teeth here, and champagne by the name of Krone. I know the ladies love it out there. It's right up there with, I don't know, Four Cousins. I don't know.
No.
It's probably a few notches up. Sorry, Four Cousins. It's a decent champagne, and we enjoying it, kicking off the morning with that. Teeth.
We've got a very interesting guest, very good friend. I'd like to call her a friend. Very funny but very serious and person sitting here with us today. Morwesi Ramonyai. So to just introduce who Morwesi is. Hey, Morwesi.
Hey, hello guys.
How are you?
Great.
Why am I so nervous to interview you?
I don't know.
Like, why am I so anyway, so let me just give you a little breakdown on who Morwesi is. Now, Morwesi, I can usually mess these breaks down up if I'm not too prepared. So if I'm wrong on anything, just clean it up.
Sure.
But Morwesi is an impact entrepreneur. She's involved in the energy industry. Information systems graduate with an MBA from UCT. Look at me, I'm killing it. She's also the managing director at Borena Energy. Borena Energy, who are developer of renewable energy solutions and systems, who design and engineer and install solar PV solutions and provide electricity. Ndarkie, you're completely out of your league here. Completely out of your league. So let me finish. Morwesi is also a shareholder and CEO at Sun Exchange, a platform that allows anyone from anywhere in Africa to earn money by solar powering energy. Did you hear that? A platform that allows anyone from anywhere in Africa to earn money by solar powering energy in Africa.
Anyone from anywhere in the world.
Anyone from anywhere in the world. Did you hear that? So Ndarkie, even do you guys do ancestors? Can my ancestors get in on this? Morwesi, your rap sheet is too crazy. Like, I wish we chilled as much as you've got like such a serious profile. But yeah, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm good. Thanks for inviting me. I've just recovered from a nasty flu, so excuse me if I cough now and again. But I'm good. Life is good.
You're easy.
Yeah.
Morwesi,
Yes.
that's a lovely name.
Thank you.
You are from Johannesburg.
Yes, I'm from
originally.
Johannesburg. I'm born in Soweto.
Oh,
and,
okay.
raised in Soweto, so I'm a through and through Joburger.
Oh, okay. For earlier on, I mistakenly thought you were from. I think Morwesi is a very Tswana
Yes, it is.
name. So I thought you were one of my clan. Only to find out, no.
Well,
you
I
were
possibly could be. My maternal side is Tswana. Is
Oh,
Batswana,
okay.
And my father's side is Bapedi. So, of course, there must be links to
No,
that
for
extent.
sure, for
but,
sure.
But I am born in Gauteng.
Oh, okay. No,
Modern day Gauteng.
that's brilliant. You have a very impressive profile, including something I've always looked into. I'll start a bit later on your sort of like your academic career. The MBA, you have an MBA from UCT, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I have an executive MBA from the UCT Business School, yes.
2 years. Apparently, it's a very rough process getting an MBA. Briefly, how did you find that experience and some of the key lessons you gained?
It was great. I think it's, the experience you get out of an MBA is unmatched. It's a very personal journey, and I think what you learn is also equally personal. So this is an executive MBA. It's not a normal MBA.
Oh, okay.
So it's slightly different. It's targeted at your executive level.
Oh, I see.
Type of professional. Excuse me, my brooch just fell and broke.
No, sorry about that. We'll
It's
see
okay.
if
That's
we
what
have
happens when you buy antiques.
We'll see if our budget allows to assist.
We have no budget.
So what you find typically with an executive MBA is that the caliber of person that would go there is generally more mature, age-wise, and far more experienced industry-wise. And also, they're hardly looking for mobility in their career. It's less about looking for that high-paying job and whatnot, and probably something more personal. That's typically what you'd find. But obviously, in any way, an MBA is an academic program, and a lot of people study to improve themselves, and there is career aspirations to an extent. So I went for it because I did feel that I think it had been about 10 years since I studied again. So, and this was in my undergrad days and a little bit of postgraduate, and I felt like I needed something a little bit more interesting. I had felt that my career, at the time I was working as a director in a fairly large business, and I felt that I had set in the systems that I needed to set in, and things were working quite smoothly, and I felt I had a bit of capacity for a challenge. So I went for it. Maybe it's important that I explain why I went for executive MBA instead of a normal MBA. A normal MBA, of course, the content doesn't differ too much to an extent, but I think it's the approach and the methodology. And because I have a BCom undergrad, I didn't find that a normal MBA was going to be particularly beneficial to me. I was going to do typically the same type of commerce-inclined subjects. Your operations, finance, HR, business management type of stuff, and I felt it wasn't going to add too much value to me. Of course, it's a different level of application. The depth is a little bit different, but it's still, at the end of the day, the same. The executive MBA was more around systems thinking. There was a strong element of mindfulness in this particular one. So UCT is quite different in that way.
Okay.
What they're doing is completely unique. You don't have a lot of executive MBAs, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Particularly in South Africa and on the continent. And so it was really a lot more about just personal leadership and leadership in society, and very much anchored in systems theory. which is an entire universe around
Okay.
just looking at the world quite differently and having a systemic approach to everything in life, and less around, you know, profitability and all those things, and making businesses just grow and be bigger for no reason. So quite aligned to also what I'm particularly interested and driven by, which is impact, and in specific terms, social impact. And that's what I found. It was a bit tricky getting in. I remember when I was getting interviewed, I was told that I'm a little bit too young
Oh, okay.
to be in the program. I was actually one of the youngest. I think I was the second youngest, if not the youngest, in my class. I think in the end I found that I wasn't the youngest, so I wasn't feeling so bad. But here I was in my early 30s and I was the youngest.
Oh, okay.
Or one of the youngest again. So your average age there, you're looking at your 40s,
Yeah.
going up. I mean, I think some of our eldest were probably in their mid-50s. So that's the big difference. But it's a very enriching exercise. I felt that it was incredibly enriching for me. I was exposed to concepts that I'd never thought about. But more than anything, which is my general attitude and understanding of what education does to you, and particularly executive education does to you, is that it gives you a language for things that you probably had in mind, but you didn't know what they were or couldn't articulate. And this is what, for me, was part of the best experience. It's just having a language for these concepts that made sense in my head, but I didn't know how to say them or what they really were or where they fit in the real domain of life and professional life and being a grown-up and all of those lovely things. And yes, so it was, I drew a lot out of that. We could go on for hours, but it was, I think the most important thing is that it's a personal thing.
Yeah.
Because you go in there for different things and you come out a completely different person. Absolutely come out a different person. I think it also validated everything that I always suspected, but now had the confidence to be sure about. I think very few people go out of an MBA the same. In fact, probably it's weird because an MBA is designed to, in classic terms, people go for an MBA to get a promotion and get a bigger job and this and that. I found, particularly with the Executive MBA, maybe with other MBAs it's not the same, but when you get out of there, you don't even want to work anymore. People actually, I think the corporate world loses a lot of
Value to you.
a lot of professionals to MBAs because it's such a personal
Oh, okay.
learning experience that you actually are more inspired to go find your own voice in the world than in your corporate space.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Like one of my dreams is actually to do an MBA. I promise you. Even as like an artist, as like AKA hippie. That actually definitely would be one of my dreams. But I also think like something struck me from what you just said, where you were like, you also kind of, what did you say? You kind of learn about systems in every component of life.
Pretty much, yeah. It was highly philosophical as well, highly philosophically inclined. So less academic.
Okay.
Of course, there were parts of it that were, but that was not really the big objective. So it's not stressful. You're not doing financial management exams and cracking your head around statistics and stuff like that. No. It's about systems thinking and systems theory.
From the sounds of things, you are a full-fledged adult. This is what I can get from what you just said.
What you have basically just said is
You are a full-fledged adult. And this comes to our topic for this episode, which is the issue that young artists out there have had. They don't transition well to being an adult. What was that pivotal moment that you realized that now I'm independent, I can do whatever I please and take responsibility for it?
I think I've always been attracted to the idea of independence. Anyway, so I think for as long as I can remember, I couldn't wait to get out of the house, first of all, like living at home with my parents. So that was one of the first things I think I did. And I went to the furthest university ever because I just needed that. I can't say at which point I could say I was, but I've always been just after that independence. So, in fact, actually, I remembered a story recently that a friend of mine, a neighbor of mine and I, when we were still in high school, tried to encourage our parents to allow us to go live in some caravan, some caravan that landed in the street somehow.
I don't believe the story, Morwesi.
You
Not
have to. I promise
You
There was,
in a caravan.
There was like a vacant plot, sort of in our street because there was this massive tree that so nobody could build on the piece of land.
Oh, okay.
And one of the neighbors brought a caravan, and we were just so fascinated by this thing, and it had a kitchen and a bedroom and everything, and we were just so happy. We must have been like 15 or something. So we told our parents that we'd like to move out of the house and move there because it was just like a stone throw from home anyway, so we were still safe and whatever. But anyway, that didn't work. Still
Clearly.
stayed home.
Very, very surprising.
But I've always just wanted to be independent. I've always wanted to do my own thing. I've always, and I got myself into a lot of trouble doing it because I think I was too much of an eager beaver. Got myself into serious financial trouble, actually.
Serious.
That's where my first financial woes came from being an eager beaver and trying to be independent and trying to be wealthy when, I was young and in my 20s and silly. And
trying to be wealthy, but like, what's wrong?
no, there was
What's wrong
nothing
with
wrong with that, but
Okay.
I think my formula was ill-informed.
Yeah, the TeethSwag formula. that no proof, but just execute. That's
know what I
that's
mean?
what we call it. That's what we call it.
Do, like,
The
just
do. The do formula.
I can't say I'm fully adulting yet. I'm not sure. I think it's a lifelong. I think that's a lifelong struggle.
No, definitely.
Honestly, if you
Yeah.
ask me, yes, there might be things that I've been better at, but no, I still get a call that, hey, this payment didn't go through. Did you know that? I'm like, what? What do you mean? And I have to go back and check and realize that, oh crap, I didn't have enough money in the bank account to. I still am not as organized financially as I'd like to be. But as far as independence, I'm full on independence. I mean, independent. I'm full on about it, and I'm completely independent. I haven't needed to depend on anyone. Since I was in high school, I think, or since I was in varsity. Okay. I guess in varsity, your parents still help you out. But since I left school officially, tertiary school, I haven't really needed anyone to look after me, and I've looked for my own work. I've ran my own businesses, and
Morwesi, that's crazy. Like, I'll tell you now, I still think I still pull in way more favors, like, to my own mom now at my age than I should. I'm being real with you, like.
but that's different to being dependent on them.
But like, what is?
I mean, I still call on favors as well sometimes. I mean, running your own business is not easy. You get at times when you really need serious cash.
Yeah.
And you call on, what do they say? The triple F. Friends, fools, and family.
Yeah.
You depend
Oh,
on
Ndarkie, you can call on Ndarkie. This is your Ndarkie here. You can see here. This looks like a Versace shirt, but I'm sure it was from Mr. Price.
So I would
Shout out to Mr. Price.
So I put that differently. I mean, I see that differently. I do call on family at times, like, hey, listen, I need 100K for this, or I need so much for that, but I'll give it to you in 30 days. That's a little bit.
Can I please? I'd like to just get an understanding of your understanding. What is financial independence to you then? Just what's your idea of it? Your ideal of it.
I think financial independence talks more about your ability to make money for yourself, and your ability to one, to make money, and two, to take care of your financial obligations, and to meet your financial obligations without significant difficulty, and to manage your life, to manage your financial life. And when in managing your financial life and navigating your financial life, you go through different resources. Some of it involves borrowing, some of it involves investments, some of it involves tapping into your own resources, some of it involves restructuring your financial life. So I think it's really it's a lot broader than just having money, but it's the ability to make money, the ability to spend that money wisely, the ability to even grow your money, I would like to believe, and the ability and the knowledge and just information around what money is, how does it work, what to do with it. being able to make a decision between A and B. But
Yeah.
even if you can't make the decision between making choice A or choice B, at least knowing what to do or who to talk to make a decision around choice A and B. So from literacy to the whole works, I think.
Just you touched on your own businesses, which means you're no longer in the corporate space as an employee. What prompted that decision to do the jump over?
Okay, the first time I had to jump from employment, which was at the time I was working for KPMG.
Okay.
And the first time I had no choice, was because I was getting into financial debt. I was drowning in debt.
But you're also doing quite like well though, like career-wise. I mean, you seem like
No,
you're
it's fine career-wise,
Okay.
but I was only earning so much, and I had gotten myself in all kinds of stuff. So what happened? I'm one of those people, and I believe there are many others. There was this, what was that?
Don't tell me.
Triple M. Triple M. What does it please say? Triple M. We're waiting for it.
No, it's not Triple M. This was in 2007 or 2008, when I think it was a new credit act, if I'm not wrong. But basically, there was this new sort of act that was coming in, and it was going to prevent you from it was going to bring more transparency in the banking industry around an applicant's financial life.
Okay,
in a
yes.
way.
What? An applicant's financial life? What are you saying now?
Yeah.
So if you go to Standard Bank and you're looking for a loan, they were going to have a little bit more transparency around what you have with FNB and
Yes, so
Capitec and every other bank.
initially they were not
What?
supposed to share your credit.
Yes.
Now they know your bag. Now they know. Okay.
So what I did, clever me, I was sitting there and I'm like, I really want to get seriously rich. And at the time, the theory to serious wealth was property, right? Because you're young and, well, it's not the worst, but I think how we did it was not the best. Me and a couple of friends, because I convinced some friends as well, and we were all happy to go after this independent seeking kind of journey. Anyway, but I got greedy and I decided, I see that the banks, I didn't even know that the banks are not that transparent to each other.
Yeah.
So I was like, Kanti, is this how it works? So I took my payslip, which obviously can only give me so much, and I went to 4 banks and I got 4 bonds.
Shout out to you. That makes sense to me. If you need a way, can you get a budget for a mixtape like that? Ndarkie, that is the plan.
Capitec, we're coming.
So
That sounds
I got
amazing.
4 bonds from 4 banks in 1 month. Because I remember, I think that the NCA was coming in on the 1st of May or something like that. And so I think even on the last day of April or one of the months, the last day, I literally got a bond approved. So I got 4 properties.
Okay.
And my point was that, if I don't get these properties and this new, legislation comes in, I mean, what is this? We're going to have to buy properties one at a time? I mean, hello. I'm not from some wealthy family. I don't have I'm not a trust fund baby. When am I going to create this wealth if I have to buy one property at a time and a bond is 20 years? This is wasting my time. I need to get rich and I need to get rich fast. So let me go for 4 properties and then bang, which was fantastic. The banks all came through for me. I was very excited. I was chuffed. And obviously that plan got sour very quickly because now the banks are looking for their monies and my salary can only take me so far.
Yeah.
Particularly a lot of them, one of them, the worst property investment I guess I made was that it was a piece of vacant land.
Okay.
So bad idea.
It's not generating income.
No, it's not generating an income. The others I still have, funny enough. After being blacklisted and coming back, I've bounced back, but I did.
Shout out to the blacklist.
I've
we
been
all come
blacklisted.
back kids. Come back kids.
I've been blacklisted, so yeah, I earned my stripes. And but yeah, the vacant land really, really sank me a bit there. But also I bought at the worst time. That's when the property boom was like really
At its peak.
and it soon popped. And then suddenly you're sitting here with a bond of 800,000 rands. You can only get a tenant to pay so much. Even the value of the property, if you wanted to sell it, you couldn't sell it. I mean, even till today, I don't think I can really sell any of them and make my money back.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Only one, the property in Soweto. That was the best decision actually in Soweto. And all these other ones in the burbs and all, oh gosh, nightmare of my life.
I think I've got an older sister who, when she was younger, I can actually relate. I think she made the exact same mistake that you did. Just like her wins are exactly in the same way that you've seen, because her best things right now are the things that she did like in the townships.
Yeah.
She could almost tell you, like she could mirror what you said. So that's quite interesting.
No, I think by design, those things are designed to not even make you win, if you ask me. But I mean, we're not talking about theories and conspiracies today, right? But in general, my best investments have been the ones in the township. Simply because you have things like, you don't have things like levies.
You're getting deep.
Which keep you behind, because the point for you is that you leverage on the bank's money to have access to this property that you lease out to somebody else, who will hopefully pay you rental that meets your bond obligations or even exceeds it.
Is that what a levy is?
No. I'm talking about now rental income.
I don't know what a levy is. I don't know.
No, there's generally a property manager, somebody who looks after your the complex.
Okay.
And this entity obviously needs to be compensated because, one, they look after security. So somebody has to pay the security guards. They look after the common properties have to be maintained, cleaned up, painted, all those wonderful things. Which is, again, it's another story for another day, because when they do need massive maintenance, then you pay special levies. But these levies, for me, my experience, they keep you always lagging behind. Yeah. So I'm yet to actually, except for my property in Soweto, have a property that actually pays me where the rental income exceeds my bond obligation, and that's the one, and it's more than 100% actually.
One thing about levies is that they're never ending. So you can pay down the property, but you will always pay down the for the management of the property.
Yeah,
always. Okay. So let's say you have a 800,000 rand unit in a complex. Okay. You will pay down. If the levies are 2 grand, you will always have to pay 2,000 rands to the management of that property.
Like forever.
Until. And if you have a tenant who's paying you rent, they pay you rent. Yeah. The levies are your baby. It's not, they don't pay on your behalf. I mean,
because I thought property was the bag, though.
I don't know. I think property is a game for the Kiyosakis of the world.
I've never like property. I don't know.
Look, I think it is true.
I don't understand any of that stuff.
Yeah, for those that have made it in property, it is true. It's about location. It's about timing. And a whole host of things. I think that the likes of us that just went for any property developer and bought those schemes. Those are schemes actually. And I think they are not designed for you to really make money as much as you'd like to. There's definitely other things that you can do, but not for now. But that was the first reason I had to get out of a job. I was in trouble financially.
So it wasn't really out of ambition?
No, I was always seeking, I guess. I mean, by that, I was always interested in doing anything other than work. I was just always this.
I'm sure it was a scary, there was a lot of things involved, but it was a scary jump nonetheless.
It was a bit of a scary jump, but I by the time I left, I think I was just a little pissed off, because I was like, I'm either going to be broke or seriously broke, but the denominator is the same. I'm just broke. Here I am. My salary is frustrating me. It's not enough. And also I was looking at it and I was like, how long will it take for me to get to the top of this organization? And I counted the years and I counted the steps and I was like, this is a waste of my time. This is going to take too long. I really was one of those entitled young, what we call entitled today. But I really thought, this is going to take too long. No ways. I'm going to be like over 30 by the time I get to the top. This is too long.
Would you ever go back though?
No.
You wouldn't?
No,
you don't miss... I'm sure there's good things, the steady paycheck,
look, corporate
the working
is fantastic.
hours. Yeah.
I did go back after that, because that was, this was 10 years ago when I made my first jump. And I started my first business, a consultancy. And then about 3 years later, I went back to corporate, but differently. Okay. I'll talk to you about it. It was different, completely different. If I ever go back to corporate, it will be on some very specific terms. It's not a horrible place to be, but I think it's a place where it can be very disempowering. And unless you know what you want and you can negotiate exactly what you're looking for and make it work for you and align to what your own personal mission is, then you can find, that. So I left because, yes, it wasn't enough. And I figured it's either I'm broke or I'm going to be more broke. And also, I was so full of crap. I did some calculations. Friends of mine did some calculations. We're like, how much does KPMG charge us out per hour?
That's the last thing you want to hear.
You at KPMG? Well, how did I miss that? Okay, that's not good. Okay.
It's kind of like off my CV now.
Okay.
No, I'm
KRPG. Okay.
No, I'm joking, but yeah, it's unfortunate what's happened to KPMG. Honestly, it's a great, it's a great institution and it provides a lot of good learning. I got some of my best experience out of there.
Okay, yeah.
But anyhow, then I thought, I did some calculations and I'm like, hi, these people. We figured with my friends, I think they were making a salary in a month or something like that, or less. And we like, so we basically work 11 months.
Who was making
KPMG, the company,
in a month?
Yeah. Not just looking at your annual salary and how much you are charged out for. I mean, it's a very simplistic, it's oversimplified mathematics. But anyway, the long and short of it is that, when you are a little bit unhappy at work and when you are cash strapped, you start having these theories and making these calculations and thinking, if I made half the money that I make for this corporate on my own, I'd actually quadruple my annual income.
Yeah,
it's that type of thing. So that was for me one of the motivators, and I felt that I'm in terrible debt. I'm getting into trouble.
Yeah.
I remember even going to look for another job, because I thought, I've got hours at night.
Yeah.
Maybe I can do something during the night, moonlight or something like that. And then
some very
no, not that kind of job.
You started
Moonlighting at night. It doesn't sound good on a podcast.
Anyway,
my sister, who's a lawyer, she's like, actually, I'm not going to tell you this, she'll kill me.
What did she do?
She was like, she wants to strip to make money because she's tired of the shit.
Strippers make decent money.
Anyway,
I'm sure they do.
The only issue is that the KPMG principle applies because now the pimp needs to get the chunk. So he makes annual salary in 1 month.
In 1 month.
And keeps the so it's a general business principle.
As long as you have a boss, you'll always have this problem. So even the stripper's gonna have to start, set up her own strip club.
Yeah.
Consultants.
Own consultancy. So then I was just saying, by this time I looked for even a call center type of thing, gig to do after hours. I was even selling, I remember I sold, vacuum cleaners at some point. My friends laughed at me so much. But then I realized in the sales pitch you have to sample, and after my family made me clean their carpets for like the whole weekend, I thought, I'm not doing this thing.
Yeah.
And I left it. So I thought, okay, let me just, and I was also a little bit unhappy. There were some incidents.
A little bit unhappy?
No, there were some incidents that annoyed me.
Okay.
Typical corporate politics, it's really, it's a backstabber's paradise, that place. So I thought, you know what? I'm actually going to go out, give it a shot. I've always thought I want to start my own thing. I have no plan. And I realized by then, and I stand by this very firmly, everything I tried whilst working was not working. And a part of me just said, I remember thinking then that, you can't serve two masters. You have to make a clean break, and perhaps only then the inspiration will come for something. I don't know what. So I left, and I didn't tell my family. I was so stressed because they didn't know. And I remember I resigned. My last day was the 15th of December, 2007. And then by that time, I had set up a home office. So I got myself a laptop, a printer, stationery, the works. I kitted myself up, for whatever. I was prepared. And then I pretty much broadcast a message to everyone and anyone I knew. all my networks, all my friends, and everyone except my family that listen. I've left work. All I have is a laptop and a brain, and some experience. So I'm looking for stuff to do. I think consulting type of work makes sense because, like I said, all I have is a brain and a laptop. I have no money to start a business. So if you find or know of anyone who needs anything that is up my skill set, let me know. And I did that. I told anyone and everyone who cared to listen. Obviously, nothing happened. I was getting job offers, and I declined them, all of them. And then, suffered a bit of a personal family tragedy, actually, a few weeks after that, literally on the New Year's Eve of 2008. And had to be present for the family and was available there. Next thing, my family's like, Kanti, when are you going back to work? Because now, so it involved a death in the family. And now, middle of January, they're like, oh, when are you always here every day? What's going on? So I said, no, I took leave. I was so affected, so I've taken long leave. And then by the end of the month, my mom is like, what's going on here? You still here? What's happening? And eventually I had to come clean. And I said, okay, I resigned actually. I've been out of work for over a month. And I don't have a plan. And obviously your parents panic for you, especially because their formula to a good livelihood is good education, which they've done, and a good job, which they've also done, apparently. And then you must just do that until forever. And so it's a bit of a, I think they also take it personally, that like, are you crazy? It's a bit of a, slap in the face.
It's rough out here.
It is, yeah. And also sometimes, our parents have very old ideas around business and stuff. I mean, funny enough, my father has always been a business person, but my mother never thought it's a great idea for me. And she also, for some bizarre reason, thought it was a man's thing. So that kind of like was a bit discouraging. But I never listened to that anyway. She just says, men do better at these things and whatnot. I was like, whatever.
Look, your record shows that I'm sure you took a lot of amazing things from your mother, which obviously that's quite clear. Except maybe that.
It's funny. She now runs the business anyway. So,
she's like now your biggest.
But she still feels that it's too stressful.
Yeah.
And it's a hard, type of thing to do. But anyhow, luckily, literally, so here I am. It's now the end of January. I still have nothing, and I don't know what to do. I've got a makeshift logo, but I don't know what my business is going to do. And then I get a call from a friend. Because I was always active, actually, outside of my corporate life anyway, in industry associations and whatnot. One of them was the Black IT Forum, actually, Black Information Technology Forum. I was quite active there from as early as I came back from university. And incidentally, when I started with them, one of the things that was happening was the whole not broad yet, Black economic empowerment was kicking in. And we were involved in putting together the ICT Charter, which almost you could argue was, led and ushered the way to what we have today as a BE codes. But we had started getting involved. So I got quite intimately involved with BE and the mechanics of it and the codes and how it works and whatnot. So, and the ICT sector was quite leading in that way. But anyhow, get a call from a friend who actually has been almost mentor. I've never had a formal mentor, but I've always had a lot of people that I think have supported me along the way in many ways. And this gentleman called me and said, listen, there's a company that needs a BE strategy urgently. They might be losing a contract from a very big client, a big government client. And the only way they can avert this contract loss is if they come up with a BE strategy explaining exactly how they plan to improve their BE status ASAP. And this is a job that you need to do ASAP. So I was like, okay, sure, hook me up. And believe it or not, it was a 3-week assignment, and they asked me how much do I want. I gave them my annual salary, and I got that.
Yeah. I can totally believe that.
Yeah,
I can totally believe that.
So 3 weeks and my annual salary in 3 weeks, and I was like, what? How?
possible.
I'm never going back.
Can I please just... What I've actually always said to Ndarkie before, in this journey of us making finance for hippies, is that I think there's a mind shift that happens. The first time somebody pays you the money that you believe you're worth for the shit that you love to do, or like the shit that you can do really, 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 really well. I think there's a mind shift. I call it bullshit money. I say that the first time you actually get bullshit money, and I think you have to actually experience it. Ndarkie like works in the system right now, and this project is, he's getting into the arts, and that's our whole narrative of what we're doing here. But for me, I think it's usually hard to communicate for a lot of people to get it until you see somebody pay you the right amount of money for something that's in your head, like your dream. And I think there's a mind shift. It is hard to ever be like, holy shit.
It can't be the same.
It changes your mind.
I actually feel like it's even like a trick, like a cosmic trick of some sorts. It feels so surreal that you. It's almost like we always talk about how the universe conspires with you and things like that. This really is one of those legit conspiring evidence, of sorts, because here you are, and next thing, bam. You get it. And I don't want us to even be reckless or to encourage anyone to think that, we're being irresponsible. But it doesn't happen all the time, of course. And but that was my experience the one time. And the first time, and I think everyone's first time will be like that, because it opens up your eyes. And I think more importantly, what you're saying, Pure, is that it's a mindset shift. It actually makes you realize your value. It validates your dream, or it validates your value, and you realize that, damn it, actually perhaps I'm selling myself short and I can do something here. So that was quite motivating, encouraging. Of course, to keep that momentum is not a joke, because now if you're going to go into real business, that's a different ball game altogether.
No, it gets
it's not
quite
that first. It's not a fluke. That first time you win at the casino, or the first time you get a nice big client, doesn't work like that. You now have to build on it. You have to actually, it's not a blurb, because that also did feel like a blurb to me as well. Like, what is this? Like, did something just go wrong in the universe to just create room for me to experience this incredible moment of fortune? But the confidence was built. And the inspiration was there, and I actually from then on went back home and hacked together a quick business profile, got myself a logo from Google, and made myself these whack royal blue business cards with yellow font. I still have one of them, and my company was called Borena Consulting.
From your days in varsity to where you became independent as an adult, to the day you left your corporate job, to being now a new level of an adult, how did you see your decision-making process change? I'm sure the way you were making decisions in varsity evolved to the way you were making decisions at the job, and eventually progressed to the way you were making even better decisions in your new company. How did you see that change?
I'm certainly less impulsive. I think back then I was far more impulsive and gutsy. Not that, gutsy is a bad thing or something that I wouldn't encourage now. But yeah, then I was just blazing guns and just going out and stuff it.
You're on the do mode.
Yeah, stuff it. I have nothing to lose, and I'm going for it. And I would do that, and I was not afraid to get into debt, to get blacklisted. Like right now, I cannot afford to be blacklisted. It's actually quite serious. And it's not funny. It would be quite embarrassing at my age and at such an advanced stage of my career that, for example, let's say I get invited to serve on a board, and then when they dig into my profile, it's like, you are blacklisted,
Yeah,
so you
no.
can't be, a member of this particular board. I would be quite embarrassed. Or I can't be a director with a great opportunity for myself because, I've got a terrible record, things like that. Or I can't raise finance for an important business project because, hey, I'm blacklisted. So certain things obviously change, and the impact thereof changes significantly. So I'm less impulsive, I've realized that. I'm a little bit more guarded and protective over my reputation and over my personal track record. So when I take risks, it's calculated risks. It's certainly not just going, guns blazing. And I think I've realized that I take more time to pause for myself. I actually give myself a lot of breaks.
Okay.
I think in my 20s I was speeding ahead, and I was like, what was that hedgehog thing?
Sonic.
I was Sonic the Hedgehog. I was just like rushing through and taking any opportunity. I was featuring in any interview. I was speaking at any platform. I was at any networking event. I was on any organization and getting involved in here and there, because people also, you have a particular energy, and I think you attract a lot of things into your life, and people possibly also find you attractive.
Yeah.
So you get invited, come, let's start this thing together, let's do this project together, let's start this organization together. And I was doing everything, and I was everywhere, and it was great. I had the energy for it, and I had the personality for it and the drive for it. But now I pause. I really do. That's in any decision that I make, I have to sleep on it, even if I don't have to. Even if I know already that that's a no, I still say, let me think about it and I'll get back to you. And I give myself that space. But also, I say no a lot. In fact, I say no to almost everything. I say no to everything now.
I think that's actually one of the dopest things that I've learned just from knowing Morwesi. And I think I was telling him this before. I think it's such a powerful thing, but and she really does. Morwesi will say no. Even okay, we hang out. It's like no more. No, I have enough. I'm doing enough things. And I think a lot of creative people, artists and that's especially I think creative thinkers, there's always a multitude of ideas going around, and everyone wants to start something, but following through and doing things and making things effective.
And you know what, I mean, I wouldn't describe myself classically as a creative, but I do enjoy creating. I do enjoy thinking and ideating. It's one of the things that I absolutely love. And I get carried away. I mean, gosh, give it enough, we could literally come up with a new business, just the five of us now, by the end of today, and we'd be so jazzed and whatnot. Because it's easy to get excited. I've also learned that about myself. It's easy to get excited. It's easy to get going. It's easy to get motivated. And let me tell you, everything is possible, and anything is a possibility, and everything is exciting. It's so easy. And I've just come to learn that, you know what, perhaps you also have to focus to an extent. And also, whilst everything is exciting, you can't do everything all at the same time. And you need to maybe just say no to certain things. I mean, I wish I could clone myself, because there's so many amazing things I'd love to do. But you just simply can't. And even though you are blessed with the energy, the drive, the ability to conceptualize and envision and even see how this thing can come together, you just can't. And one of the other things, so it's those couple of things that I said I do. I pause. I'm less impulsive. I'm a little bit less risky in my approach, and I say no. But I also recently, one of the things I've absolutely done also is I don't get involved in anything that is a startup anymore.
Oh, okay.
No, I've been involved in too many new projects and new ventures, and what you find is then you're a perpetual starter.
Yeah.
And then you never finish.
Yeah.
It is one of the concerns I had for over a long time. Like, am I able to finish things?
Yeah.
Because at some point you find yourself involved in so many things, but they're all in a particular
space, a particular thinking space.
I mean? Yeah, and you're not able to just go over a particular sort of threshold and finish or see things to a particular fruition. So I don't get involved in anything that is a new concept. But that's because I'm working on a huge greenfield kind of project anyway myself. But I've decided that's the one that I'm going for. I'm going to develop something interesting, but I'm going to focus on that only, and anything else I'm not doing. And I also don't do media stuff, honestly.
I actually wanted to say, I've actually got it written here. I've just wanted
okay.
I've always wanted to kind of understand that, like about you, but I mean, it goes without saying. Just
it's part of giving myself a break.
Media, social media, it's not something.
Not so much. So I mean, on social media, that's just pure laziness. I mean, I Facebook. I had to delete my apps on my phone because I didn't have space, and I just never bothered to get back. But in general, I'm also talking about just being a public figure or being publicly known and things like that. I've decided to take a break from that quite a while back. I think those things are distracting. I'm very guarded and cautious around egos and letting your ego just get inflated. So I'm very, just some things I find unnecessary. But that's just my own personal thing. I think I did too much of that. Like I said, back then I was doing all of it, and now I don't. I think somebody recently said to me, "Oh, can I nominate for you to," there was some destiny thing going on, 40 that 40 thing, whatever, and I said no, and he couldn't believe it. He was like, "But what's wrong?" And I was like, "I'm not interested, I'm not
40
interested.
Under 40
and I'm sure it's fantastic. I haven't seen much about it, but things like that, I think at some point, and I think it's part of me giving myself that break and pausing. I am taking another very long pause as well, in my own career as well, to just reimagine myself and reestablish myself. And I think it's an important thing to do once in a while.
What would you say is the best decision you ever made as an adult and the worst decision you've ever made as an adult?
Wow, I was not prepared for that.
Are you serious?
No.
I can tell you about one decision you've made, and this is not going to get you to skip this question. I don't know whether you're a child or whether, but I've heard I've heard you've dealt with a no-nonsense train driver who took you to Soweto. She was meant to go to Soweto, and let's just say she didn't end up in Soweto, and that was her decision-making. Am I wrong here? Did I make the story up?
Well, that was a bad decision, but it wasn't the worst. But yes, took a train for the first time because my mother always prevented me from taking one, told me horror stories about what happens on trains, and said I must never get on it. But in matric, because we finished early, I took one with my friend, and we thought we'll go to Soweto. And lo and behold, we ended up in Vereeniging. We literally went through Soweto. She kept on saying, "No, it's going to stop. It's going to go around somewhere."
And then entrepreneurship mindset.
Eventually landed up in Vereeniging, no money, and had to beg for money to come back. And we got into serious trouble.
Best decision? Best decision?
No, I think one of the best decisions I have made, I'll probably spend the next week thinking, why didn't I talk about that one? Why not that one? But anyway, it's fine. Top of mind now is, I think, listening to my true heart and taking that leap the first time. I think it did me very well, because I had always suspected that I don't do well with ordinary or with particular conventional types of things in life, and sort of the laid out sort of system. And in fact that decision I've made many times. So in this particular case, I guess I can say when I did leave my job the first time, that was one of the examples of it. But I've done the same thing many times. I remember I've left a very long-term relationship, actually.
Okay.
What kind of relationship?
It was a boyfriend that I'd had for quite a long time, and for no specific. People say, what happened? Like something must have happened.
Yeah.
Like in that case, nothing specifically had happened, but I just had the foresight and I just thought, nah, this is not going to work. And it's that, I think, fundamental in that and any other examples is that I just listen to my true heart of hearts. And I trust myself and I just go for it.
I think there's a lot to be said about, it's funny enough, there's a lot to be just said about energy and protecting your energy as well. And funny enough, I'd like to bring him in Ndarkie into the sphere. Mm-hmm. So Ndarkie, hopefully your employers are not listening, but like this is a kind of, this is a kind of real thing where someone like Ndarkie wants to go into other things, I heard you even say something earlier where you were talking about your family would be disappointed, and when you think someone is ready to leave their jobs, and a lot of creative people live in that kind of scenario as well, where they're not so happy at work. So when do you think he'd be ready to do it, and why do you think he hasn't done it?
Sure.
Ndarkie.
Look, I don't think it's a decision you take lightly. In fact, I actually never advise anyone to leave their job. Funny enough, sounds contradictory because that's not what I did, but I never advise anyone to do that because we have to be honest also.
It's real, Algie.
It's real.
It's cold.
Do not look at entrepreneurs and think,
they see the glory.
All that gold is, what is it? All that glitter is gold. It's not. It's not the worst place to be, but it really comes with a lot of sacrifice and comes with a lot of hardship. And if you have responsibilities, I don't think you should take it lightly. I was telling somebody recently that if you're going to take that leap, you must be prepared to suffer for a good 2 years, at least. It can be longer. So what it means is that be prepared or expect to not make income or a regular income for that long. Because you see, what happens when you go into business is before you find your business, you need to find yourself. That's my personal belief. Or that's my personal experience. So you don't just get out there and start cracking it, unless you were a deal maker anyway in your job, and now you're going to be a deal maker. Some people can transition easily into the business world because maybe they just do exactly what they were doing, or it really depends. This thing is never the same for everyone. But I think it's not something to just take lightly and to just take the leap easily. If you can, of course, perhaps do a little bit of more preparation, understand what you're looking for.
Savings.
Absolutely. You need to save. My financial advisor always, and this has helped me a lot, always, recommends and suggests that, and I stand by this as well, that you cannot begin a business or be creative or even be inspired if you have financial stress. So you have to have the free space to go and do your business. And to do that, you need some kitty to take care of your financial responsibilities. So you must have those savings so that you are not stressed. Because if you're stressed, it's going to block everything. Nothing is going to work out for you.
No, that's true.
So, but I wouldn't. Yeah, I think. These things also, I think, as time progresses, the stakes get higher. You see, it's easy to leave your job when you're 23 or 25, and it's harder to do it when you're 35. You've accrued more responsibilities, more expenses, and you've got a lifestyle. It's not easy to just switch from a comfortable lifestyle.
That is too fresh to be suffering.
You know what I mean? So, if you, when I quit my job, I was driving my Polo. It was fine, and it wasn't the biggest deal. I didn't have any. There was no lower. I couldn't care, But if you have a family or you have a particular lifestyle, whatever, those things matter as well, So I don't think we should take it lightly, but you can do more research and prepare yourself better, save better, and possibly even net your next gig before you go out. And the thing about, and you must also never discount the experience that work does and gives you. Personally, I think corporate has played a significant role. I think had I gone straight into business straight out of school, I probably would have taken just as long to crack some basic fundamentals, because you learn a lot in corporate. You learn discipline, you learn business models, you learn how money is made, you learn about HR. Even basic stuff like that, you learn so much in the corporate world.
I think that's a specific corporate world. If you, that's very specific.
Any corporate world.
No ways. I didn't learn. When I was
working, you didn't learn anything?
When
That's
I
not
was
possible.
working, they just wanted me to sit and design shit all
Yeah, but
day
you're
and just
designing,
come up with
shit
ideas.
within an ecosystem. You're
And,
designing shit. You knew about deadlines. You knew about client fulfillment. You knew about getting clients and
Morwesi,
satisfying them. You knew about budgets. You knew about.
This is my show. You're not gonna make me wrong on my show. I'm right.
You always
you're
learn
right.
something.
You are right. You're definitely right. You are right.
It helps. It helps. You learn a lot. So, but we can't all do business, and also sometimes we mustn't just want business for the hell of wanting to do. What are we looking for? If you're looking for flexibility,
Independence,
or a way to control your time, that doesn't mean business is the only alternative. There's ways to find that even in corporate.
No, that's a very valid point.
Yeah, you can navigate, these spaces and find what works for you. So I think we must be clear about what are we looking for. Are we looking for more freedom? Are we looking for more space to be creative in my job? Because you can be enterprising even inside a job. Actually, imagine if you just got a new job title and it was like new projects. That's your job. Maybe that's what you're interested in. You just want to go out and venture new concepts and do interesting stuff, but you still will enjoy the security and safety of an income anyway. Even us that go out into business, we go out there to do what? To still get that security that you get in a job anyway. So it's actually not about not being employed. That's just being an anarchist for nothing.
For sure.
So the issue is what lived experience are you looking for?
For sure.
And can your job give you that? And if your job can't give you that, can another job give you that? If another job can't give you that, then maybe you might have to go out and look for it on your own. But that's not the answer to everything. It's not the silver bullet. And I wouldn't encourage everybody to do that. It's damn risky. And if you don't have the comfort and the funds back home to help you, it's not a joke.
What I can take away from this is that if you're not prepared, you leave your job. No more mimosas, no more champagnes.
Yeah.
You best believe you're drinking water. Another question from me.
Yes.
How would you say a true adult handles criticism?
Did you see the Skinny Spoon then?
Yes.
All right. Shout out to Skinny Spoon, man.
Oh, yes.
I'm on your side. Anyone out there? Ndarkie's got about a powerful Skinny Spoon. One more. Anyway, answer Ndarkie's questions, please.
He's a passionate guy.
One more.
And it came through. I think, how you handle criticism is, one, give yourself a break. For me, I would take a pause, as usual, and just think about it. And you should really, criticism is something that can build you up. Honestly, there's a lot of truth in criticism. I think we focus too much sometimes on how people say it or what words they use. I think I like to look for what is it that you're actually looking for, or what is this person is actually saying. What are they actually saying in their criticism? What are they expressing about me that I should be paying attention to? Never mind that they said it like this, or their face was like in a particular way, or that they use this language, or they were condescending. That's just ego playing out, The long and short of it is this person saying that I don't listen well? Or is this person saying that I actually don't know what I'm doing? or what is this person actually saying and what does it mean? I think we should look for that in whatever criticism we get, and that is, for me, I think, a more progressive and more mature way to handle criticism, and then see what you can do about it.
I bring this up because in our podcast, the last 2 episodes have been published out there for the guys to listen, and we managed to get a bit of feedback, And I told Teeth that, this is important. We need to look at this feedback. We need to look. Teeth was not having it. Teeth did not want to hear.
Oh, he was taking offense.
So
you see, egos kill ecosystems.
So Teeth, please, you check your ego, bro.
What is it?
Check your ego.
Can I tell you why we're both laughing? Because he's the one he doesn't want anything to do with people's feedback. He says no.
Feedback is the best thing
This
you
is
can
our
get.
show. He's the one.
You should actually seek feedback. You should incentivize people to give you feedback, because it's important. It's going to make your product better. It's going to make you better, and hey, you might get the greatest ideas ever.
And but also I think finances can get us down a lot of the time, and while there's such a strong relationship between your mental health and your financial independence and health, what's your thinking on that relationship? And I'm the worst at that. I can just be in an awful mood because there's like little or no money in my account, but
look, money can really bring a lot of distress, and in both cases, even having a lot of money can really
stress.
Of course.
We are looking for this money.
No, guys, if you suddenly had too much money, you'd be equally distressed. So it's a major problem. I do, like I said, one of the things that I was fortunate enough to get this advice from my financial advisor was to say, all right, if you're going on a journey for entrepreneurship, maybe you need to, take a holiday from some of the things we were doing, like savings and investments and things like that. Take a holiday from that. Give yourself that break. Secondly, we had been saving up a kitty, so you know what? For the next 6 months, let's see how things go. You're working on a particular plan. Let's see how the plan goes. But for the next 6 months, don't stress about even making an income. Just perfect what you're doing. Work on what you're doing. But you can tap into these resources for the next 6 months. And this is how you can live. Because why? Simply because when you are financially distressed, you are not able to think clearly, you are not able to think creatively, you are probably not even attractive to anyone. I'm sure people don't even want to talk to you, like, don't want to take your calls. I don't know, maybe I'm sure at some cosmic level it's like, stay away from this person, they are broke and stressed. So you are desperate probably, and you're probably going to make mistakes. So it is important to always make sure that you are financially reasonably comfortable, because if I say comfortable, it might sound like you need to have mimosas every morning, but you're financially covered for you to do what you need to do. But it doesn't answer the question, what do you do with your mental health when you are now in the dwang and you have no money in your bank account? It is highly stressful, and I think you just need to accept that, for me, I laugh at myself, so that's one of the things that, like, my own coping
she
mechanism.
does. She really does laugh at herself.
So if I'm broke, I'm broke, and it's like, I can't believe it. How did I get here? And and that allows you to, one, accept your situation, because you're not going to get angry at the world and think it's somebody else's fault. It is your fault. You're broke. You didn't manage your money well. And you just have to get yourself back on and do something about it. I think it's important to also remember that it doesn't last forever. It won't. It can't, and it won't. It just can't. Nothing lasts forever, good and bad.
And Morwesi, some people have been on 3-year runs of
But that's because they're not doing something, that they're not taking the time to think clearly and carefully, or giving themselves a break to think about what is it that they need to do. Sometimes we keep doing the same things, but we expect a different outcome. You can't. Things are not working well. Maybe you do need a 3-year break, because sometimes that's what it takes. It takes a 3-year break to figure yourself out, figure what you want, fix some of your bad habits, fix yourself, and get yourself together, and then things will start working out. So like I said, business for me personally, it's about yourself. You need to find yourself. You need to figure yourself out. It's actually like school for life, and it's just an avenue, I think. But you need to fix yourself, sort yourself out, understand yourself. Quick one. I know we need to wrap up.
We've got two questions.
I didn't answer the
this.
question around worst decision. Sorry.
It has dawned upon you now.
No, it hasn't. But I realized I didn't conclude that. I told you I take long to have conversations, but I never forget where I left off. I think, and it's a lesson that I'm learning, that I've learned. But it's giving too much of myself. I think I've done that too much. Some of the worst decisions I've made were out of that, just giving too much and being overly generous with myself. And it's not a bad thing, but being overly generous at the expense of my own priorities.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
And yeah, it happens, and it's happened. But it's something that you learn and grow from, and yeah.
Last question, Ndarkie. Yes. And then I'll have one more.
I have one other question, which is, do you believe that the women are being treated much better than yesteryears in terms of equality, in terms of gender, in terms of issues such as pay? What's your view on that?
I think it's an area that is continuously improving. I'd like to believe. You see it in the spaces that one is in. The fact that you're even asking this question, is just sign of that. So I do think that there's a bigger awareness now around just disparities and inequalities and those types of things. But it's still a massive problem, I think. I've seen it. I see women do still earn less. Single women still earn less than if you are married, or get less respect in certain spaces than if you are, which I don't understand. Compared to men, absolutely by far, especially in like corporates and things like that. Of course, it's for the taking, that space and correcting that, and women just championing their own is for the taking. People like me are just going out there. I don't go out there because I'm a woman. I'm out there because I feel like I want to do something in a particular way. I want to live my life in a particular style, and I want to make an impact in certain spaces. And that's what I want to do. Whether I'm a man or a woman is irrespective of that. But in general, the world is generally patriarchal and has a huge bias against women. And it's true everywhere, in our micro spaces and in the macro environment.
How would you advise a young lady becoming an adult? What piece of advice would you say you'd give her in order to really be aware of this and to really fight back?
Well, I think women in general, we don't even have to fight. We just have to. I think it's important, and I guess it ties in quite beautifully with your topic of the day. It's important that women are independent. That for me, that is one of the best avenues to living a good quality life and to gaining that kind of equality that we're looking for. Women have to absolutely be independent. Women have to be able to do everything that we want to do for ourselves, or that that the next person could potentially do for us. I think the days of trying, we can't preach equality and then at the same time lead our lives in a very patriarchal styled lifestyle. We human, we are equal, we are able, we are capable. So it means we do things together. Even in our personal relationships, you must pitch in. You must be willing to do it, even if it means you do more than the brother. Tough it.
For something for us. Pay for something, ladies.
It's not even an issue. You work together. You're a team. You do stuff together, and at work you pitch up. There's no, if a boss is a guy, then you must help out with, I don't know, bringing drinks or. And I'm not saying be a rebel and be like, I'm not gonna help you with with anything, because we courteous, we work together, we do stuff together. But as humans, not take on these gender roles and these funny things that are so man-made and so annoying. But I think being independent is the biggest thing that any woman can do for themselves. It's empowering, and it opens up so much in your own life. and frees you from very backward and very regressive types of ideas and thinking around how to live.
Teeth? No, man. I think that's pretty much about it. I think you touched on the main things. I was probably gonna ask what you just said. You see, we got this telepathy thing. He asked what I was gonna ask.
What about being a woman?
Batman.
No,
and Robin.
not that. But you pretty much yeah. He's Robin though. But he pretty much like kind of summed up what I wanted to say in his own way. But I think just in closing, I sincerely do appreciate like you coming through to our show, which is not a startup. Which is but really like one of the things about everything we're doing, especially when you are working for your independence and working as an entrepreneur, the value of your time is just like it almost, it's not an ego thing, but your time is literally all you have at that point.
Dude,
you get what I'm
it's all you
saying?
have.
So
you either have time or money.
you get what I'm saying?
That's why we
Yeah.
say time is money.
Exactly.
And if you don't
So
have money, you have time.
you
So
have
you have
time.
to use it wisely.
So you coming here, I would really like sincerely appreciate it, because for us, it's, we do our best to make sure that it's an incredibly invaluable use of your time, and it's not we are trying to really do our thing in a way that it really creates value for our audience. Maybe in closing, it would be just cool to know,
Tell us about the current status of things and what the future holds for Morwesi.
Okay. So right now I am full on focused on my business, Borena Energy. That is where we develop solar energy projects. I am developing a mini grid microgrid project in a rural village in South Africa. So that's about providing access to electricity to households that have never had it before. It's a very exciting project for me. Something that I've always wanted to do for the longest time, since just entering the renewable energy space. And now I think I have the confidence, the mindset, and the energy to go for it. I do, of course, run a business, so we do other things. So that continues. The team can run with that. But my personal mission right now is that. I think it's a mission that's going to take me a few years. So I'm full on dedicated to that from now until then. The day I see households connected to electricity, but paying a fair tariff, and really this spinning off into good other opportunities for livelihoods outside of just electricity, but using electricity for other productive activities is the day I'll know that I've achieved my goal. So this is sort of my big thing for now, and if I don't get to live long enough, that will be my legacy. If I get to live longer than that, then maybe I might go for something else. You asked about my properties. I still have the 3 and still can't sell them. The market is not great, but we stabilize now.
let's land this on the cheap.
The tenants are in, they're paying. The levies keep me on my toes, but it's okay. And I'm able to leverage on 1 or 2 because the bonds are looking good.
Finance for Hippies would like to make you an offer.
Official offer.
We're big now, we can afford properties, so we'll
Okay.
talk after the show.
Please offload one for me. The one in Midrand, horrible.
No, we'll take the Soweto one.
No. I'm very interested in that on
I
the
wish
cheap.
I had invested more in the township. It's amazing. But anyhow, yeah.
No, thank you very much, Morwesi, for coming through. It was very interesting to see a person who has gone through quite a lot of stages in life and still has quite a lot in her future in terms of energy, in terms of personal growth, in terms of how they're making a decision. I think this will hopefully help us as well as the listeners out there. From you, the hottest dude in this podcast, Ndarkie, and his sidekick, he's coming back now. He's grabbing me a cup of coffee. Oh, there he is, Teeth.
No. Yeah, it's been awesome. What I say, it's been great. I had an amazing thought that has just disappeared that I wanted to close off with. But I think just to wrap up from our side, really thankful that you came through. Anybody listening, we're out here. We're good with feedback. We want. Ndarkie's putting out a price soon for feedback. He'll be paying people for feedback. but and obviously we're looking for beats. Ndarkie's mixtape is coming. We've also got our Get Rich or Die a Hippie mixtape that's coming as well. We need beats. If you got beats, submit your beats, submit your feedback, submit your questions. And we'll get through to everyone. I mean, I think we've got a loyal fan base of like 11 people right now.
Excuse me?
Loyals. What do you mean?
11 people.
Yeah, no. Well, two of them is his mom and sister.
Oh my goodness,
and,
guys.
we have funk here, so it's actually organically it's like
organically 8 people.
Why am I here?
No. But like for real. It's really like everybody there's been lots of people who've been sharing, supporting the podcast. Like I think it's been a bit overwhelming just getting the feedback that we've been getting from people, and but we're here for more of that. Rap.
That's great. There was another exciting episode of Finance for Hippies, their journey to independence. Catch you on the next one. Over and out.